Oh, we got your back.
You got me?
You got your back, baby. Now we're ready to go.
All right. As I was saying, it is hit the books time. Sorry about that. I think it's on my end. My computer's actually running slow. I got like 40 different windows open as I was mad tweeting about DTR throwing yet another pick. Good to see you, Knish. This is Hit the Books, part of the Hammer Betting Network. Let's pay some bills real quick. Hit the Books on the Hammer Betting Network, powered by Circa Sports. Bet like the pros with the world's largest sports book right at your fingertips. It's Circa Sports. Experience big app bets with the highest betting limits, better money line splits with the lowest hold percentage, best customer service, and more. It's sports betting on the go. It's never been better. Now you can download, fund, and bet like a pro from anywhere in Nevada. Get your new bookie today at circasports.com. Knish, we had a nice winner yesterday as far as best bets. An outright winner with Washington comes home for us. We're doing all right in the bowls, 3-1. We got 4 more yet to be determined, and I like our position in almost every single one of those, to say the least. So anything catch your eye here since the last time I talked to you here a few days ago?
I think somebody on the Purdue football team liked our position so much on LSU, he flew to New Jersey and put a big bet down. Apparently, that did you see that tweet from Mr. Purdom that they've stopped trading that game in New Jersey due to somebody involved with the Purdue football team making a bet on that? I don't know. Long story short, yeah, I liked our Washington winner. I liked our the positions we got so far. DTR just having an all-time absolute meltdown here in this game here to get it for Pitt. So and hey, little South Carolina ND action, that's been a good one so far. So and listen, we got the main course here tomorrow night with your guy Jim Harbaugh ready to put it to TCU, baby.
Yeah, I agree with that position. So we'll get into that in a little bit. As far as tonight, though, because we still have, while we got 3 games going on right now, we still got a game tonight. It is the Orange Bowl, to say the least, and then some, with Tennessee and Clemson playing one another. Saw some money come in on Tennessee today, quite a bit of money, in fact. I mean, the line went from 6 to down to 4. Were you a part of that steam on Tennessee, on Tennessee? And were you part of that? I saw Mr. Muscles was on it. I actually ended up betting Tennessee a long time ago, but didn't anticipate too much more money to come in.
Yeah, no, I'm with like again. It was with some of the Tennessee positions. As you said a little bit ago, nothing that I wasn't jumping on to add more to. Again, we talked a few weeks ago when we were first talking about bowls that I thought this move was just simply like too aggressive on a Clemson team that's been relatively disappointing for the year. So no, I think the move makes sense. And it's still even small lean Tennessee here at the 3.5 or 4. I know no Hooker, number of opt outs and stuff, but I don't think it's a particularly good Clemson team. And I think what Tennessee does on offense, even with Milton, can give that Clemson secondary that's been pretty porous all year a lot of problems.
Did you do anything with the total? I did bet under. We saw a lot of under money come in the last 24 hours. The total went down 2.5 points. Did you do anything there?
Yeah, no, you know what? I haven't touched the total on this one. And I agree with, if you got an early under position, obviously looking good now. This one is one to me. I'd still lean side Tennessee at 4. The total to me is about right here. So I don't have anything, lean either way now that it's, I think 60, 61 is about right.
Agree there. Slight lean still for me, even after the line movement a little bit, dogging under there. Anything, did you do anything big as far, we'll mention as it's going on. I mean, Pittsburgh, UCLA, my biggest bet of the bowl season was on UCLA. As it was trickling out that DTR would in fact play and Pittsburgh was going to be down, a minimum 8 starters. I laid 3.5, the biggest bowl bet of the bowl season for me. Felt pretty comfortable about, 20 minutes ago, but now not so comfortable. Just a horrific look for DTR, horrific look for Chip Kelly. I don't know what else to say. I mean, probably going to lose with the 4.5 points of CLV, not going to act 5.5 points. I mean, hell, ended up closing 9. Used it in the contest too. How stupid am I? Did you do anything in this one?
This is one that I just, when I was originally getting some info a few weeks ago that didn't think those guys would play, took a large Pittsburgh position. Then it comes out, it's looking like they're going to play. So came back on UCLA. So I'm pretty, neutral. Probably going to, unless this lands right. I think I need UCLA by 4 here would be so a little touchdown, little 35-31 final, and I think both of us would be very happy here. Outside of that, it's just going to cost me some juice. So yeah, I agree. The information on this one was a little. Again, it was one where like Charbonnet does all the practices, decides not to play. Yeah. On the meantime, DTR did practices, then he plays. So I'm not. It was an interesting kind of pre-game information war on this one. And obviously UCLA was the side here, but turnover to ultimate equalizer. A couple of backbreaking DTR, 3 backbreaking DTR turnovers now, 2 in the red zone and 1 that led directly to a Pitt touchdown here, and now another turnover that just gave Pitt the lead. So if there's any game that tells you like never to have too large of a stake on one sample size, it's this game where UCLA post-game win expectancy is probably going to be like 99%, and they're definitely not going to cover any of the late numbers here unless there's a late melt, and maybe not even cover the best numbers. So yeah, this is a tough one for if you're a UCLA bettor.
Yeah, and try double whammy for me. I ended up betting under 60.5 when it was like you really thought DTR and no one was going to play.
Yeah.
I huge loss, but it is what it is. And it does show you that. I know Knish likes to talk about locks. I don't. There isn't any.
Hey, baby, you know what? I was telling when I wish Washington would have won that game by 2 scores. I was going to have Phillips at to 1 a.m. pulling up the clip of Washington alt lines last week. They only win by 7. We'll take the winner, but I was really hoping the victory lap that Washington by multiple scores take. That was as hot as it gets. But hey, listen, good, nice double lock there, and we move forward.
Speaking of steam, real quick, we'll mention this before we get to some of the other games. South Carolina, Notre Dame's going on right now. A lot of steam on Notre Dame today. Man, that turned out to be so correct. All that steam. I mean, we'll see what happens. He's still got another half to play, but I mean, Tyler Buchner is no good. He is no good. I know our friend of the show, Tailgate Tent, I was trolling him a little bit. Said don't pencil in, Hartman as the starter. I
You can pencil. You can take my left arm and a kidney, and I'll pencil that in. That Hartman, unless he's hurt, is going to be the starter for Notre Dame next year because Buckner should probably be playing at Georgia Southern or something. So
yeah, I agree. It just shows you how terrible that Notre Dame quarterback room was. But he doesn't play defense. And now he did throw a pick six, and I think he's thrown 4 pick sixes in his career and barely's played. But Notre Dame's defense is not look good either today.
No, and it's the South Carolina, like Spencer. You look at you look at the 6 games before they played their final 2, and then add in those 2 plus. It's like Spencer Rattler like morphed into a different person. He basically he was averaging like 150 yards a game. They were trying to run the ball too much. The offense was stagnant. Now they're throwing it all over the pitch. I can't recall like a late season turnaround here as UCLA is just like it seems like they've like completely melted into oblivion here as now they're inside their own 5. Second half, Notre Dame -4 over under 27.
What do you like there?
I think that's about. To be honest with you, I would lean some South Carolina. To be honest,
Yeah,
I think they're a better football team. I know their defense has given up a couple of bad plays, but I think that to me, all eyes on the first half is that South Carolina is the better team on the field right now. So that one. And again, you know what you mentioned. I want to talk about. You mentioned some of the bowl steam that was the game day that was really good last year.
It ain't good this year. It sucks this year.
Yeah, it had some good moments here. Now the last couple of days, it's been a little bit of a tribute. So I mean, obviously with these bowls, it's got a lot of you've got a lot of unknowns going into it. So that's why we've talked a few times this year about maybe being a little lighter on initial positions, doing some more middling than usual. Because I mean, some of these results, even in a game where you've got the lock stock right side here on UCLA, that's looking like it's about to be a big victory. So just an insane bowl season.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't give me much confidence moving forward to go all out and try to bet almost every bowl game like I've been. But I don't know. Look, I mean, the results are what they are. But I mean, you're going to give me 4.5 points of CLV. I mean, I'm going to win more often than I lose. So, but man, that hurts me. If it sounds like I'm a little rattled, it's just not because of my poor internet at the start of this stream. It's because I'm a little rattled. I mean, I'm frazzled with that UCLA result, to say the least, especially when I thought they were in good shape 28-14, even with those 2 early picks. I thought this will still be a winner. I clearly had the right side. Wyoming, Ohio. Did you do anything in that one? Late steam on Ohio doesn't look like that's going to be correct either today.
No. I actually, after the first Wyoming TD, the only thing I did, I missed the original steam there on Ohio. I didn't have a strong feel. I live bet some Ohio 3.5 after the first Wyoming score. Thought their offense would answer. But it looks like Wyoming, Wyoming, a team not known for their offense,
oh my God,
has looked pretty good here so far in the first quarter. It wasn't a game I had too strong of an opinion on. But played a little bit of Ohio live, but I mean they're letting Wyoming march up and down the field so far with Wyoming's only player, only skill player that was worth a damn not playing, and then they're just lighting it up. So that one here, I still think this is an Ohio team that's not going to have problems. Over here. Well, the under actually took a little money here. I mean, this looks like it's going to go over in the first half. So
a
little bit definitely more wide open than I thought.
Yeah, a little bit of late money came in on the over, close 43. Although, I mean, again, a little bit of a surprise. I mean, Wyoming's down to 5th-string running back. They can't throw the football, and you thought that would really compromise them. I understood a little bit that late Ohio money, at least to get it to 3, but looking at the chat here, DTR out. Wow.
Yeah, it looks like he didn't play last series. I don't know if he's coming back. He's done enough damage, but
I
don't think the backup's really going to come in here and drive another a TD drive. So a pit score here, and I think UCLA might be in the grave here. So it's.
Well, at least the only positive I had is I only turned in one of my contest picks, and I didn't turn in my leader one. I wanted to on UCLA. It was the best bet on the board with, the stale lines, but I'm glad I didn't do that. So at least I got a break there. Let's talk. Let's get to the games starting tomorrow. Before we get to the playoff games, there's a few other games. I will start with the Cotton Bowl. Alabama taking some money today with it getting up near a key number. Crimson Tide now favored by 7. Did you take a position on the Crimson Tide? I can tell you that I did. We'll see how it works out. I did lay 3. I'm a little worried now, but not really. I just think they're the better team, and that was before the announced opt-ins. Now I'm starting to hear some whispers. You can, to confirm what you're hearing. I'm hearing that Bryce Young might not play every single snap. Are you hearing that as well?
Yeah, that seems to be the word going around. It is really, now the only thing I would say here is Bama is a pro that notoriously just doesn't have leaks. So I think there's a lot of programs that a lot of coaches talk, a lot of message board info that you can get. Bama not usually one that they're pretty airtight. So I'm a little bit more dubious of stuff like that than I would be at some other programs. I agree. If you're talking if you're telling me Will Anderson and Bryce Young are going to play the entire game, then the original number was short. It's another one where I was talking like Pittsburgh, UCLA here. Bet some Kansas State early, bet some Alabama when the news dropped that they're going to play. So I don't have too much of a weighted position on either side. Again, if you told me those guys are going to play the entire game, I'd still lean Bama. But the Bryce Young drop off, to Milroe or whoever they're going to try there, if they're not going to play in the entire time, is significant. So it might be one. If you don't have a position now, that's probably one you just want to set up live, and be see how the game's playing out. If they pull them live, you should have some opportunities. So it's one that I don't have a strong recommendation to play pregame right now.
Not at 7. I'll tell you, if it gets to 7.5, I might play a little bit back on Kansas State, just with those rumors out there a little bit. The other game, I kind of skipped over it, maybe for a reason. Iowa, Kentucky, with a total at Circa, the good old show sponsor, of 30.5 at Circa. I'm seeing, at least on my board. I'm not sure about the one there in Colorado, but did you take a position at all on this one? I kind of lean towards the Iowa side. I think their defense is the best unit on the field. And believe it or not, I kind of lean over as well, because I think you need perfection to go under a total like this in today's day and age of college football. Did you bet it?
I don't, you know what? I don't have anything on this one. I was talking with some people this morning. I think if a 3 popped, you get me on Kentucky. Now, again, we've said it a few times when, our sponsor here, one of the sharpest books in the world, is the only one trading 30.5. Does that make me want to run to the window and bet over 30.5? No, but I'd agree with you. That's the only, at 30.5 in a bowl game, and I know both of these offenses, just anemic throughout the year. They're both going to have a bunch of, backup different quarterbacks on both sides. Still, I think, though, in bowl season, you can sometimes get exactly what we're seeing in Wyoming, Ohio right now, where, have a Wyoming team that usually runs slow plays, missing a number of starters, and they just they open up the playbook, they play a little bit different tempo. I just think sometimes you're going to tell me that, 30.5 for a bowl game. Over is the only thing I could play. I tell you, I can't. This UCLA pick game is just it dropped.
I know, man. I was plus. I just shut it off, man. I was getting flustered. I did. I'm
I tell you what, and you know what? This may be the last time I drop this troll. This would be a great tease game for Kentucky if you were getting a great price on a teaser. Through the 3 to 7.
Got it. Yeah, you guys are gonna tease
plus
it.
8.5. Man, we would have loved to still been able to do that. That's too bad we can't anymore. Anyway, for me, I'll see if a Kentucky 3 pops. I would lean over. Outside of that, again, not one that I'm going to have a strong feeling on pregame.
I agree. I'll say this to the teaser. Yeah, I mean, I hear you. Low total, teasing it through 3 and 7, a long teaser makes sense. And then I look at the result of the UCLA Pitt game, and I basically had a free teaser, just getting in front of almost a touchdown line move, and look what lose the game outright. I mean, I don't know, man. There's just so much variance. Sure, in theory, if there's one college football teaser to play, hooking up, give me the other leg to it. What's your other leg to it? Kentucky and who?
Well, that would be that would be part.
Michigan?
Thankfully, I don't have to worry about this anymore. But normally you'd look for again when we were playing those, you would get you will what you want it, you got it, baby. Give me a little Michigan there on the teaser. That is honestly, usually when we were playing these, you'd find these two games where totals in the 30s or the low 40s, and see if it you can match them together. Obviously, not another game that really fits that criteria, but that'd be the hey, that's a side. I think the Michigan is the best bet on the board to win. That's the most comfortable I feel the games remaining to win that side that's even in the range. So, or cross sport it. Maybe it's easy with one of the NFL low totals. Yeah, now you're feeling you're on a Friday eater. I'm surprised. Did you dip into the the egg now a little late, the holiday stuff already, Mr. Powers feeling himself here.
Yeah, well, I mean. Pittsburgh 8.5 with a total of 35 makes some sense there. So Dolphins, I think, are a decent teaser option. So yeah, I mean, I certainly, why not in that regard. Let's get to the main event, and that being your Michigan Wolverines against the TCU Horned Frogs. The friend of the program I see is on Michigan. I am as well. I mean, I'm just not blowing smoke up Knish's ass here. I think Michigan's the correct side here. I think TCU, generally speaking, is overrated. I think Michigan's offensive line really leans on them in the second half of the game. I'll give you out a bonus best bet prop. I'm not a big prop guy, but I like it.
I am. Give it to me, baby.
I'm gonna go Donovan Edwards over receiving yards. The cast is smaller on his hand. I think that he'll be able to catch the ball unlike the last couple of games. Obviously, his usage rates are going to go through the roof without Blake Corum, over 13.5 yards. I did see, I think a friend of the program also had that.
Yep.
I like that quite a bit.
Yeah, he sent that. We friend of the program, we bet a little bit together. He liked that one. I also, I talked about on Wabby. Again, it's another one that you're going to have to find the right book because not all of them have it. I like J.J. McCarthy over rushing yardage.
Okay.
It's one that I think I've seen around 16.5. It's one there. Michigan doesn't give up many sacks. You've seen it now. It's juiced pretty good at Caesars. We'll have to see if that. Hopefully, some more places open this tomorrow. But you've seen in Michigan's biggest games, in the critical games that they play, whether it be the Ohio State, they run more design runs for JJ. He's more against when they're playing Rutgers and the poverty about him. They tell him not to run it. He doesn't hand it. He doesn't keep it on any of the RPOs. When you're playing the premium games, and it's a TCU defense that super aggressive in terms of their run fits and all that stuff. I could see him keeping a couple RPOs there and gashing for a few big plays. So I like the Edwards receiving yardage, and I like the McCarthy over rushing yardage. So couple of player props there we like. I got a couple in the other game too, but I'm agree with you. I like Michigan as the side. Did you play some under as well? I played a little under in this one too. About 3 weeks ago, 61.5. I think Westgate hung. So I did play that. I mean, we'll see. I mean, it's like I'm barely above 500 in this bowl season with like 3 points a game, 3 points on almost every single game. So whatever. I mean, I think under a little bit. I think both teams are a little bit conservative out of the gate. You could agree. I really like the JJ McCarthy rush yards there. Kudos to producer Zach for pulling up the props like that. That was that quick. I'm like looking at my screen, I'm making sure he's quick to the trigger there. Speaking of Zach Phillips, he told me I got to make sure to promote. There's a brand new upcoming episode of the Circles Off podcast. Robbing the guys at you with a lot of hot hitting action. Zach, if you want to come in, who's going to be on that?
I'm hearing it might be your buddy, Captain Quack.
Oh,
is that correct, Zach, or did I misspeak?
Shockingly, I didn't get invited to that episode. I didn't even know what's happening. So, I don't. Maybe I must have missed the call there to get invited for that roundtable.
No guests, neutral Rob and Johnny break down on the Circles Off podcast on the Circles Off YouTube channel coming out later tonight. They break down the notorious Twitter beef that's going on right now. Okay. So there's they offer their opinions, their sides on it, and break it down from their perspective.
I would have loved to be on that table and giving my unbiased opinion.
Neutral third party Joey Knish with no
bias.
Yeah. No,
Love it.
I see why.
I can't wait for that episode. So make sure you guys are checking that out. As Knish is checking in, you give me updates on the game.
Well, Pittsburgh inside the 5 right now, trying to put the final nail in the coffin.
Fair enough.
So yeah, 3rd and goal now. So UCLA, even a field goal here puts UCLA bettors in the grave.
Yeah, agree. Unbelievable. If you start seeing a light popping up, it'll be my phone from pissed off clients and whatnot. So that'll be the case there. Let's go to the nightcap tomorrow. That being, a good play, at least on paper, a good semifinal. Ohio State, Georgia. Buckeyes today took a little bit of steam, respected steam too. I think, this ain't, Barney at the bar betting a day before the game. He's too worried about trying to cash a second half bet on a game that's currently going. But Buckeyes took some money, went from 6.5 to 6. First time the lines moved in about 3 weeks. Early money was on the Buckeyes. I did bet them on that opening Sunday when the lines were released. They took 7. I lean Ohio State. I'm anxious to hear from Mr. Buckeye Hater on how stupid of a bet that is. But I just think I'd be very surprised if Ohio State doesn't play an A game. I'm not sure if it'll be enough to win it, but if they come out and play like they did in the second half against Michigan, I'll be stunned. And if that's the case, then Ryan Day's not going to be the answer for the Buckeyes moving forward.
Yeah, I'm with you. Listen, we talked about it earlier, played some 7. There were 7s out there for a while. They're obviously all gone now. But Pitt's just jump false start there, so they're going to kick the field goal, and that takes it all out of the range. But no, I'm with you. I even still like. I can't get to. I don't think this is last year's Georgia team in any realm. I thought the SEC, one of the worst renditions of the SEC in a while. They took advantage of a pretty bad SEC. Listen. It's still a very good team, but. And again, I talk about the SEC championship data point there of LSU was able to throw it all over the pitch, and they made a bunch of mistakes, and they let the field goal return there, but they had no problems moving it up and down the field. And you get an indoor game here where Ohio State should be super motivated after that. And listen, I'm not one that wants to. You talk about the guy that doesn't want to be an Ohio State apologist, but you like that Michigan game. It's a 1-score game with like 6 minutes to go. And then you give up, 7-yard TD run, 3-and-out, 80-yard TD run. And then it's 22 points. But it wasn't like it was this beginning to end absolute domination. And Michigan's a great team this year. So, yeah, I like Ohio. I think they're live. I think they're live in this game. And that's not just me saying it. I would still play 6. Obviously not for as large of a position as I put on 7. But, this is one I think will be a great game. I think Ohio State's got a number of advantages, plus the factor coming off the Michigan game. So I like Ohio State there. I think this is a classic 1-score game going into the late 4th quarter and one of those types.
Yeah, I think people forget. I mean, they actually led at halftime against Michigan. So one really bad half of football. I'm not downgrading a team's power rating. It kind of reminds me of the last couple of semifinals where Ohio State found themselves, a touchdown underdog. Alabama, they won the game outright. The Clemson game 2 years ago, they won the game outright when everyone threw them in the trash. So I at least expect a really good effort from them. I got another prop best bet for you. How about I want your take on this?
Yeah.
I like CJ Stroud over 277.5 passing yards. I like it.
That's the exact one I would double best bet. That's the exact one I was going to go with.
Because I like it for 2 reasons. Number one, I see 279.5. I mean, I'm good with that.
I know there's some 277 out there at maybe the king of sports books, if you can bet there. So, there's still some 277 around.
I bet it at Willie Hill just a couple hours ago. 2 reasons why I like it. I think if you like Ohio State, obviously, how are they going to have success in the game? Well, I mean, obviously, it's going to be through the air. And let's say you're wrong about that. Ohio State it isn't the right side here. Georgia is clearly the better team. Well, if Ohio State gets down, what are they going to be doing? throwing the football all over the yard, similar to what LSU was in the SEC championship game. So I think either way, I think he throws for 300 yards in this game. Do you agree?
I'm totally with you. That was probably like of the two games so far, the favorite. Again, for the semifinals, the player props usually a little tighter than especially some of the other games where you got a bunch of opt outs. But that was hands down the favorite one that I got so far. I just don't see a lot of scenarios where you're going to get an Ohio State team that's like trying to establish the run and go that. I know, against some lesser opponents, they played some more Mayan Williams and stuck to that. And that's not Georgia. So I think, again, SEC championship game, what does LSU do? They were to me, that's the only way you can take advantage of this Georgia defense is through the air. I like that one a lot. I could see Stroud, 350, 400, one of those type of a game, even in a losing effort. As you're saying, like either way, if Ohio State's going to win, it's going to be on the back of CJ Stroud. And Georgia's pass rush has not been, especially off of the edge. They don't have these classic edge rushers. They're very good on the interior, but Ohio State is the thing against Michigan. They are a good pass protecting offensive line, and that's not where they really had the issues against Michigan. Michigan was able to sit in their their deep cover 2 shell, get Stroud a little confused. They weren't able to run it, and then kind of melted away in the second half. I don't think this Georgia defense doesn't have the elite pass rushers off the edge that they did last year, and so I think game conditions in that being indoor favors Ohio State. So, yeah, like that, again, 277, 279, all those. Like that quite a bit. That's exactly the one I was going to go with. So, that's like that one quite a bit there.
Before we go, let's talk, because you and I we're not gonna have an upcoming Monday show. For those of you guys that watch us each and every week, when next time me and Knish are going to get together, it might actually be in a couple days. I'm joking. I'm going to be in Ohio. I'm taking a flight tonight, believe it or not.
Baby, back to the heartland.
Yeah, so I'll be there. I'll be trying to take some of.
I forgot really why you're going there. Not to see the fans. It's to see the family and have them, get a few sportsbook accounts there. So now I forgot about that for a minute.
Yeah. So Ohio goes live on January 1st. And I'll be looking to take some money out of Mr. Portnoy's pocket there at the local casino, which is a Barstool book. So we'll see how that turns out. We have best bets in the Monday games coming up here. In fact, on 3 of the 4. No, actually, we got best bets on every one of the 4 games. So if you've been watching us throughout the bowl season, where we've done a bunch of these shows, we are involved on all 4 games already. And they're all looking good, in my opinion. Mississippi State. You got me onto this. You said, hey, this was a couple weeks ago. You said Illinois might have some more opt-outs, including Chase Brown. We took Mississippi State plus 2.5. Now they're favored by 1.5. Illinois ended up having those opt-outs. They already had some on the defense side of the ball, and then their best offensive playmakers out. On top of it, their defense coordinators out. There's other assistant coaches that are jumping ship from the team. So I think Mississippi State win one for the old Pirate type speech. It doesn't take much to get them fired up. Kudos to you on that one. Any different thoughts on that one?
No, when we gave it out, we were hoping for the Chase Brown. There was already a couple of defensive players. We got the Chase Brown opt-out. And that's a scenario where, I think the running game and his talent is so critical to their offense that, and they don't have, you saw Michigan with Corman. They don't have a Donovan Edwards coming back in. They've got, some of their, I think it's Frenzy Love or something like. Their RB2 is a significant downgrade, and that matters more to a team like Illinois who wants to just line up and pound the football. I still like that. I mean, even though I think our sponsor here's got some one, I'd still play that. So obviously we're sitting good there with the best back in them at +2, +2.5. I still like Mississippi State even at current. So. Illinois is not a team. Number one, I loved Ryan Walters, their DC, what he did, what he brought to that team, him being gone. And 2, they're just not a team. They had some great frontline talent this year. For a school like Illinois, they've got some legitimate NFL talent, and none of it's going to play. And they're not a team that has that type of depth that, is a Georgia, Bama, one of those where, 15 guys can, opt out, and then you've got, 4 and 5 stars coming up. They're super, super thin now at the guys that are playing in. So I like Mississippi State quite a bit here, and even still at the current number.
Agree. Let's move to the next game, Cotton Bowl, Tulane, USC. I think I called that the Alabama game, the Cotton Bowl. That's a Sugar Bowl. Tulane, USC in the Cotton Bowl on Monday. We took under 64, I want to say. You were leaning towards Tulane. Do you want to add Tulane to the card here? It's, kind of up in the air still how healthy Caleb Williams is going to play.
Yeah, this is one that I feel like so much fringes on the Caleb Williams stat. When this was originally, we're talking about this game, I thought for sure that he wasn't going to play after the hamstring injury. Yeah. I haven't gotten very good concrete info in regards to his status. So I don't have, obviously, if you told me he was in, just at the current number, I bet USC. If you told me he was out, I bet Tulane. So that's one I think, and I don't have very, very good info on how much he's going to play. Is he going to play all that? How active has he been in practice? So yeah, that's one that I think is you probably on January 2nd. You kind of look at to see pregame how much is he doing and bet it off of that.
Couldn't have said it better. I mean, that's one, unless there's some breaking news that comes out beforehand, it's, watch him in warmups. Does he run around? Does he look limited? Because, I mean, obviously, Travis Dye's already out for the year. Jordan Addison's out. A couple of the offensive linemen are out for USC. They're not very deep at that position. I think you kind of need, him close to 100% to be able to run around and be himself. He wasn't himself in the second half. What happened? Utah just teed off on him and got sacked. It seemed like every other play. So, yeah, it's a one-factor handicap. It just depends on how healthy Williams is. Healthy, SC's short. The line's short right now. If he's not healthy, Tulane outright. So to be determined there. I'm still pretty confident in our under position there. It's never ideal betting unders in SC games, but I think we'll be okay there. Let's go to the other one. This was our first bowl best bet. The very first bowl show that you and I did, right when the games were announced, we took LSU minus 6.5. We said, hey, we think Jeff Brown's going to leave. He does. He ends up taking the job at Louisville. And we said, hey, if that's the case, expect some opt-outs. We've seen that from Purdue with Aiden O'Connell out. The outstanding wide receivers out. Several other players are out. So a lot of money on LSU. With that being said, LSU does have some opt-outs as well. I'm not saying recommend and laying it now. In fact, I might talk myself into coming back a little bit, maybe 15, 20%, be a little greedy with Purdue. Right now, I would say the current lines, I'm kind of leaning more under. I think just Brian Kelly, kind of conservative, just does what he needs to do to get the win, comfortable win, and that's that. I mean, I could see a 31-17 type of game.
Yeah, I don't know how Purdue's going to move the football in this one now. When you lose your play caller there, you lose your. O'Connell was one that surprised me. I mean, again, we liked LSU to begin with, and then O'Connell opts out. And now I just don't know. I mean, Purdue is a team that they ran real good this year, won the games they have to win. But I thought, in that Michigan game that they played their A game for 3 quarters, they still didn't cover. They still lost by 20
Good point.
points. And now you're missing your quarterback, your coach, and some other players. It's not a team that I thought even had a bunch of high-end talent. And it's LSU. LSU is one of those teams we just talked about that the guy, the third string freaking defensive end probably could start at half the teams in the Big Ten. So, I mean, it's just too much talent here. And enough guys are playing. I mean, LSU's a couple opt-outs, but honestly, not as many as I thought. I think that they're significantly better on the trenches on both sides. And yeah, I'm with you. If I had to play anything at current in this game, it'd be a bit on under. I agree. Maybe a sprinkle a little bit back on Purdue if you took some
maybe. Let's see how high it goes. I mean, we're seeing a lot of steam on the favorites. Do we get a 17 at that point? Yeah,
right, I agree. Right.
Yeah, I mean, don't just automatically think that that's not possible, because I didn't think Notre Dame would get that much money today, and look what happened there. Let's go to the Rose Bowl, final game here before we sign off. We took Penn State. I love Penn State. I like Penn State outright in this game. I think, similar opt-out situations with your best cover corner for both teams out, your leading receiver out for both teams. I just think Penn State's got better depth. Outside of the second half against USC, I wasn't overly impressed with Utah this year. I think, the Singleton and the freshman running backs are going to be able to run the football against Utah. So I think generally speaking, both teams are fired up to be there. I just think, my power ratings, I think Penn State's slightly better. I mean, Penn State won. Anything change in your handicap?
No. So, and you know what? It's another one that I think that the steam hasn't, the end of, close to the game steam hasn't hit the board. I would be surprised if this doesn't close, pick or even, Penn State a little bit. I'm surprised 2.5 are still hanging out there. I agree with you. I think Penn State probably is, they just had a couple that, they ran into it, Ohio State and Michigan this year. And outside of, a one game versus Michigan, I thought they're a pretty elite team throughout most of the year.
Yeah.
And again, a couple of their better players opt out, but they've got better depth than Utah. Utah team that, as you said, outside of that second half versus USC, went against the USC team that was probably a bit fraudulent, especially defensively. That it's just, I think you're getting the better team here as the dog. And there's no real angle or motivation, difference here that I can really, come on. I think James Franklin, not the best schematic coach, but he's a coach I think that's good at getting his guys up and in for bowl game, kind of like a PJ Fleckish guy, rah, can get the team locked in for a bowl game. So yeah, then nothing's changed from this. This is another one that just like Mississippi State, I'd still bet it at current. I'd still bet the Penn State 2.5 that are out there.
Let me ask you this. I mean, we have similar betting circles, but they're not exact. You got guys and I got guys. Is anybody on Utah here? Why is this number not moved? I thought it would, I was expecting Penn State to close maybe one.
Yeah, I still think I still think it gets there. I will just say I don't know anybody that has a serious position on Utah, and I don't know. This is one that the market. I'm surprised that enough of that 2.5 is still out there. So we'll have to see if it closes there. But yeah, I'd be shocked if it did.
Anything else you want to mention before you and I talk next Monday?
I don't think so, baby. Just go blue, and hopefully we're talking about a Michigan national championship game here coming up.
I think we will be. I think you're pretty safe there. I don't want to jinx it, but wow, Michigan playing for the national championship. What they've done the last 2 years.
Yeah,
after that COVID season.
Year. Yeah, would you have said that? So
yeah, unbelievable. And even after Harbaugh looks like he's got one foot out the door, he wants to get an NFL job to do what they did this year. I mean, it would be wild to me, but that he can coach, folks, and that culture inside that locker room is pretty good. So kudos. I'm right there with you. Go blue there, and I'll talk to you next Monday. Before that, though, as always, you've been watching Hit the Books on the Hammer Betting Network, powered by Circa Sports. Again, you can bet like the pros at the world's largest sports book, right at your fingertips. It's Circa Sports. Experience the big app bets with the highest betting limits, better money line splits, lowest hold percentage, best customer service, and more. Get your new bookie today at circasports.com. For Joey Knish, for Zach Phillips, I'm Brad Powers. You've been watching Hit the Books on the Hammer Betting Network. We'll talk to you next Monday.